unless you've been living under a rock, you've likely seen how supermodel Christie Brinkley is yet again proving to the world that age ain't nothing but a number. The 63-year-old has returned in stunning fashion to the pages of Sports Illustrated alongside her two beautiful daughters. And it's hard to miss her head-to-toe confidence, which really turns us into asking, is 60 the new 30? Here to share their insight and how that attitude is being embraced by a lot of retirees, we have the Legacy Retirement duo, of course, Greg and Kristen Taylor. Thanks for being with me.
Good to be here.
Okay, so what is your take, right? 60 being the new 30.
I'm
afraid of it.
60 is the new 30. I'm banking on it.
I'm like, I'm 30 and I kind of feel 60,
I know.
so
I don't
where does
think
that
I'm
put
on
me?
track,
Yeah.
but I am on track with retirement.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Are more retirees really kind of embracing this love of life that we're seeing?
We're seeing a lot of that, and we get a lot of single ladies in our office, some divorcees, some just have never been married, and a lot of professional women who focused on their career their whole life, and now that they're getting ready to wind down and retire in the next 5 to 10 years, they're focusing more on themselves. So we have a couple ladies who do really cool things. One I'm thinking of does scuba diving and is getting into the dating scene where she didn't have time to do that while she was working. So yes, we're seeing a lot of that.
That's a fun
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Active, healthy, busy, travel, but not just travel, not just going to see the country, but hiking and biking and one of the fellows that we're working out a retirement plan for right now, he's going to retire in a year and a half, and he's going to bike across the country for the Peloton. I mean, he's just really excited about that. And
Yeah.
so these are people in their mid to late 50s, early 60s that realize that there's still a lot of life to live.
Now, do you see, and even Christie Brinkley, surprising saying this, that she even sees ageism, even looking like 30 when she's 60. Do you guys see that still in your line of work, dealing with people?
I do every day. I mean, who knew that he was almost 60
Hey.
according to what he said earlier. But yeah, we do see quite a few that have, I think it has a lot to do with health. And of course, in Christie's case, it is all about health. But
Sure.
we do get a lot of people that have really paid attention to taking care of their health and their body and being physically fit, not just financially fit. And I think that if you look at some of the younger people we've had come in, people ask us what's the average age of people coming in to meet with you that are ready to retire.
Right.
We're seeing a lot of younger people, like Greg said, because they realize there's a lot of life to live, and if they've done well saving and they can afford to retire early, why not retire at 50 when you still look and feel good, can get out and do the things that you've always wanted to do? Get those in, and then sometimes we see them even go back to work part-time after a couple years of taking off.
Right. And I'd imagine, I mean, you guys obviously deal with the financial part, but is part of your job also to kind of take the fear out of growing old for people? Because I think there's always going to be a little bit of that for folks as they grow older, right?
There really is, and understanding being financially fit doesn't just mean having a bunch of money saved. That means you have strategies and plans in place, so specifically income plans, because truly our income equals our lifestyle. It really does. So we're able to do the things we always promised ourselves that we were going to do when we retired and have a fulfilled retirement. That requires some strategies and planning, and if you do that, if you have a solid income plan you feel confident in, and she mentioned confidence, having confidence that you're not going to run out of money, that you're going to have enough to last.
Yeah, that's really the foundation of your whole retirement is that income.
And I imagine, I mean, taking out the fear, then people can kind of start to make these grand plans, start to kind of envision what life will be after they retire. And isn't that the whole point, to have life after you retire?
Because if you're not sure where your income's going to come from or how much you can draw from your investments on a monthly or annual basis, then how can you really go out and do the things you've always wanted to do confidently? We will hear a lot of times when people meet with us and work out a plan and go through that whole process, they'll say, oh, I can go take that, trip to Alaska. And they may not have even mentioned that to us during the planning process, but it's been in the back of their mind like, well, I really want to do this if I can. And so then we hear about it, once they're really confident that they've got
they'll
enough
have the
and
money.
that they're not going to run out. Yeah.
Okay, a written income plan. That is one of the great places to start with a team like Greg and Kristen. So today you've always got an offer that we end with, right? If somebody wants to get in contact with your office, you guys will help them out.
We will. And now, right now, unfortunately, our staff called just before we came on and said that our phones are down at the office. So folks can either go to legacyretirementgroup.com
Okay.
and go there and
Fill out the
information box, or you can call a little later today, or both, and would be glad to have people come in because, Robin, this is going to be the opportunity for people to make sure they have the ideal amounts in the right places so they can have that confidence to retire well.
Okay, that is what we're all looking for. Thank you, Greg and Kristen, as always.
Good to be here.